The heart space is activated. Boom! It's like the cosmos is coming in and bringing a little bit of sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. And it's already activated, all right? We have about a month-long transit where Venus is moving through the sign of the heart. It's the sign of Leo, the lion. These are our kings and queens of the jungle. So this is definitely going to connect all of us with our inner child. I'm hearing gift of gab, which is something that we say in the UK when it comes to, wow, you can talk a lot, or you have the gift of expression. And it's super interesting because it reminds me of the voice being something that's incredibly medicinal. It could be a frequency. I'm seeing that you're casting out of your heart, but I'm seeing it as your soul has a lot to say, your soul has a lot to communicate with the material plane. I'm just seeing exchanges that are happening with the material plane and you being a gift. Anyway, when we speak about Venus and Leo, it's very much connecting us with our pursuit of creativity. It's all to do with essentially innovation. And if we ever want to see true innovation, then we should really just watch a child play, because innovation implies cooperation by its very nature. In order to mutate or ascend or evolve into a higher expression or order, then we are required to not only integrate but also synthesize. The integration process is about becoming whole. To become whole is to become healed. I'm hearing that's also to restore the soul's natural expression, and how that I'm seeing develops, translates, and expresses itself through the physical realm. This is really what it is. Okay, so the path of innovation broadly means to improve something through the introduction of elements or new elements in your life. And it just feels like there's an elemental, I'm seeing kingdom inside of you. The elemental kingdom, it reminds me of a card in the Shaman's Dream Oracle message. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I believe it's to do with the celestial helpers or guides, or you have cast or invoked. There's something around the invoking aspect. There's something that you've invoked. We're going to go ahead and use that as a keyword. But let's go ahead and use it, synthesize as a real quick keyword before we begin. Synthesize as a verb means to combine different pieces of information, ideas, experiences, or elements into a coherent whole. The simple definition is to bring separate parts together to create something new, unified, or meaningful. We're going to go ahead and do a reading around this. But the most aligned question you can ask yourself is, what would I create if nobody was watching? And what is my inner child asking me to remember when it comes to my soul's expression in the way that my soul desires to move through this system? Because that introspection is going to be the foundation in which freedom is found. I'm seeing freedom is returned to. You are returning to your gifts. You are returning to the things that bring your soul this innate sense of joy. And that is inseparable from the very thing that makes you magnetic this month, right? So there's something around creation from the heart space. Again, it's casting out this very high vibrational frequency. It's aligning you with a higher order. There could be new elements or elements in which you're returning to. This feels like the flow that we've been waiting for. So let's go ahead and see. I'm going to take a look at a Cosmos Oracle message and see what the theme will be during this Venus in Leo transit. Supernova. This is a star. It's the death of a star and the birth of a cell. So, and we literally have "Don't Play With Me." We have "Cell" at the base, right? This is just, you know, when it's like, okay, tarot, like you're showing off now. It's very much that energy with the oracles. All right, third dimensional tools, you're showing off now. It's very grand. It could be you making a grand entrance. It's this transit making a grand entrance. And really, these are energies that don't just move around us, they quite literally move through us as conduits. So there could be this, you know, expressive type of energy. And as a Venus and Leo native, I can speak a lot to this because it has this warming type of energy to it, and those gifts are becoming available to you as the human condition lifts and you return to what it is you've always been, which is a divine light being expressing itself through form. I just see it as returning back to Well, first of all, you're a star. Okay, you're a star that's about to go supernova. This transit. Supernova is a huge rebirth, and it could be when it comes to your identity, it could be when it comes to your personality, the stories in which you've told yourself, but there's some type of sacred return to the self. That's what I see. Supernova. And the supernova card basically talks about, it's a event that can be seen in the night sky. It has a ripple effect all throughout the cosmos. So it's in doing what it is that you love that you end up becoming extremely magnetic. Where the hell is that? Right. Supernova is the birth and death process. New stars. Can we talk about life without death? Vice versa. Cycles of death and birth must run through our entire existence. At times, it's easy to detect when something is coming to an end based on the way in which a sequence of events unfolds. I'm hearing this is how you can no longer do things. I'm seeing grief weighing heavy on the heart when it comes to the inability to authentically liberate yourself through the fluid ways in which we can navigate the system once again. However, sometimes events can happen in an unexpected and sudden way, leading directly to the death of the old, which is immediately followed by the birth of something new. How can we predict that something like this will happen? It's unpredictable, as if it were not a lightning bolt that splits your bones and leaves you staked out in the middle of the courtyard. The birth of a new star through a powerful stellar explosion. Yeah, it's some type of, again, just powerful surge of energy that you may feel in a particular area of your life, depending where Leo is in your chart, that's aspecting your avatar. I'm just seeing there's a powerful surge or outlet or direction in which this energy will flow through you, because what is Leo ruled by? It's ruled by the sun. And yeah, so it's the largest explosion that takes place in space and can be seen with the naked eye. So there's something that's actually going to be witnessed. The theme is there could be something that you're going to be noticed for, or things that people are going to admire or observe within you, and you'll also observe within your own creative processes. And you are a creative being. This is the decisions that you're making that liberate you on a day-to-day basis, and introspectively sitting with oneself in order to, I'm seeing retrocausality, which is super interesting, which is like the decisions that you make now that actually end up impacting the past. I'm seeing also the future simultaneously. So it's ways that you're moving through the system now in a way that you previously felt, it's like inhibitions you previously felt held back by. You're liberating yourself from those that suppressed way of moving through the system. All right, again, there's some type of synthesis and integration process where there's an element that you're returning to. Similarly to the Big Bang, it's an important note that they are born from a massive large explosion that also marks the end of a massive star. So this is not quiet. It's not going to be a whole conference where you're announcing, hey guys, I'm going to make this and this and this change. This is already happening by the time this reaches you in the quantum field. This is already being activated in your energy. It's more of it's being announced through your embodiment. It's being announced through your very way of being, all right? And then the portal is 999, and 999 is a release so that you can receive something new. Cell is at the nucleus of the cell, which is the center. We have the DNA, which is memory, and there's something that you are remembering how to do. That's what it feels like. There's something that you're literally remembering how to do, and it could be liberated ways of just moving through this system, moving through this existence. I'm going to go ahead and read the 999 portal. If we are talking about something internal, it's an integration. Also applies to all items and living beings. Yeah, it's the integration of the whole. The reconnection with the heart and introspection is to see life through that whole lens, is to see life through the lens of the soul. We're moving towards the inclusion of the integral whole. We will then be able to understand that these fields complement each other rather than being exclusive. They were always part of the one because we were always one. Our fragmented version of the being changed our perception of the whole by dividing us into compartments. the personal and the collective, the inner world and the outer world, the planet and the intergalactic. Yeah, this feels like, see, when we have individual separation, we then fall into universal separation. But when we have individual awareness, we also have universal awareness. And there is something about the impact in which you are having in you deciding to move through this season in a way that feels like it's in alignment with your integrity, it's in alignment with moving through the system in ways that are more conducive, supportive, and productive for your own soul's journey, ends up becoming a point of activation for those that touch base with you, okay, or come into collisions with you or something that you're creating. That's what I'm seeing. Ends up becoming an activation point. So it could feel like there's something activating within you. Anyway, I'm still looking for 999. 999 is an important chapter of my life is coming to an end, so I will let it go with love and put my energy towards the next chapter without being delayed. I hear the call and go straight to work on the new purpose. That's the theme. If that's the theme, let's go ahead and take a look at what don't you see coming during the Venus and Leo transit. What don't you see coming? Oh, expansion. What you don't see coming is some type of massive growth. I keep seeing surge, and then again, you have vapor trail, which speaks about a mark being left in the historical timeline. So it could be something that you're going to be called to do that leads to major expansion. This is also in 999 portal as well. It's very Jupiterian energy, and it's right on time because Jupiter is getting ready to ingress into the sign of Leo as well. Expansion spreads positively throughout space, expanding the area occupied by both someone and something. A message, project, or person expanded and spread widely. I'm just gonna say it. Some of you may be blowing up during this transit. You could be just doing something where the energy is becoming literally, it's forming a gravitational field. There's something around the heart and the torus field of the heart, opening up dimensional portals and it becoming its own gravitational field where you're going to be pulling people, opportunities into your orbit as you honor these changes. Let's go and take a look at what this is. Anything that's in alignment with your soul at this stage of your evolution, that's what you're going to be pulling in. Let's clarify this expansion. Let's clarify the expansion with a tarot card. Right. Clarifying expansion, we have two. We have the Eight of Swords and we have the Death and Rebirth. This expansion, when we speak about abundance, it's not always about having more and more and more. Sometimes it's also about the things in which we're outgrowing. Some type of expansion and what you don't see coming may actually have you in your head because you're focusing on what it is that you're going to be releasing, which could be your comfort zone. It feels like an active disruption. Like there's something that's activating that is designed to disrupt an area of your life, some type of comfort zone that you have. And it's more about the mental barriers that you have, that it's designed to help you move beyond and transcend any mental barriers that have been suppressing the transformation of you. Okay, that's what it is. Because death and rebirth, when we speak about supernova, energy is not created nor destroyed, it's only transformed. So it just gives me the transformation of you. That's what you don't see coming. Something that you're going to have to get out of your head when it comes to you. Focus on what's calling you instead of what it is that you're really leaving behind. Yeah, it feels like an active disruption. Like something is going to be disrupting your comfort zone. Let's go and clarify that supernova for the theme. The supernova for the theme is a wild card. So this is global. These are global ripples. when it comes to a message being this good, I'm always like kind of on the edge of my seat. Well, I'm sitting on the floor, but you know, metaphorically speaking, I'm always like, ah. It just, you just can't deny it, but I'm also trying to stay composed, right? But there's something around that is like composure, grace. The world card in Supernova is, first of all, the theme of this Venus and Leo cycle is you're definitely closing out major cycles for sure. The world card is somebody completing a cycle, wrapping up cycles. They are reaching this point of graduation where they are ready to embark in the frequency of the next soul lessons, right? The next chapter, the next octave or dimensional layer of this reality, and the aligned people and experiences and opportunities. It's like you're stepping into some type of new ecosystem where there are many beings and just experiences encoded into the field designed for this version of self to experience. And yet it also requires you to outgrow the version of self that is simply not a vibrational match. So this is where the version of you that has kept themselves held back in some way to this next octave of lessons. It feels like you're crossing the threshold here over this next month. This is what it is. And of course, this can be global ripples. It can be a global impact of some kind. It could be the energy in which you're anchoring into the globe with the judgment at the base. It's something that you can no longer ignore, right? It could have been something in which you had tried to suppress, but this is the soul's calling and having to honor it. This is Pluto energy, so it's a transformation. Oh, this is actually more intense than I thought it would be. Let's go and see what else comes through. You also have proton at the base of expansion. So this is a positive electrical charge that actually leads to expansion. It's something that comes from it talks about the fast to do something, being the fast to do something. Let's go ahead and take a look at your advice. Density is also kind of coming up reversed. So your advice is to free yourself from your burdens. This is what it is. The burdens could also be, because I kept hearing there's a lot about how you're going to be perceived. You can only control what's happening inside of your field. You cannot control how people may think about you, how they're going to feel, and what it is that they could say. And that ends up becoming, and it really a reflection of the relationship that they have with themselves. Density is understanding that the opinions of others is not your burden to carry. That's going to be your advice for maybe the way that you're navigating this change. You have relativity at the base, so it could be something that's happening when it comes to the linear progression of time. Maybe people understanding this with more change that happens down the timeline. Maybe it's them being able to understand themselves, but this is seeing the value within yourself this month. All right. Density is literally any belief systems that maybe it's a way of being that people believe that you should be. It's quite an important topic, but I'm not going to dive too deep into it today because I'm going to tune into this in another message. But sometimes when we are not living in harmonic order with ourselves, we have these internal wars and this internal anger. And when anger is felt as an emotion inside of the being's body, inside of the human's body, that is energy in motion. That's what emotions are. When that energy that desires to be in motion is not alchemized and that being doesn't do anything with it and they continue suppressing their own light, they end up projecting that anger onto another being. And we can see that model through the behavior of the human. It can be exaggerated emotions or responses or reactions to something that you're doing. It could be unsolicited advice that always tells more about the needs of the giver than the receiver. And it's saying, hey, you doing this thing is making me feel incredibly uncomfortable because you're mirroring my own infinite potential back to me. Because whether a fractal of infinite potential is aware of the fact that it's infinite potential doesn't negate the fact of what it actually is. So there could be something in which you're doing that could be a design, I'm hearing by design, may trigger, but your advice is that you're not here to be a comfort blanket. You are here to be a catalyst in many ways. And there could be something that you're doing that becomes a catalyst. So the affirmation is, I drop my burdens, and that may be the opinions of others. All right. So just be expressive, as a Venus and Leo native, it's something that you have to really just own, because there is so much value in shining your light. Some will find deep inspiration by you embodying this energy, and others may be intimidated by it, and that's also okay. It's a reflection of the power that I'm hearing the untapped potential that they are yet to reconnect with within themselves, that they are yet to integrate, right? That innovation is inseparable from cooperation. And I'm hearing the cosmos is inseparable from the human, because the cosmos exists within every single human. And the universe desires to experience and express itself through your own unique frequency. The only one that holds us back is ourselves, ultimately. So there's something around this. In this situation, the recommendation is also to relax and become aware by dropping the weight. You can make the journey easier by allowing yourself to stop, breathe, make space, and then continue on. Yes, you'll become unfettered. It talks about becoming more light, and not taking on essentially density that's not yours, all right? So yeah, that gives me. You might want to watch the reading that I did. It's actually a teaching, and it talks a lot about telepathy, where we can read what's happening in a being's field, because time is not linear, it's a spherical motion. And so there are things that are still lingering and existing within a being's field that can become re-expressed, where again, this is a lot to do with the inner child. So where you may trigger others this month is going to show through their exaggerated emotions. And when a being is triggered, they don't act their age, they act the age of when the wound was created. Everything, I'll tell you this is all I'm going to say to close out on it. Everything's a call for love or an act of love. Simple. Very simple. Liberated is the soul that can see everything as an act of love or a call for love. That introspection becomes the foundation in which freedom is found. Okay, let's go and clarify the Gardens card or the density card. Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups could be something that some of you have already walked away from. Some of you are already going to be in this process, or it's something that you're deliberating. You could physically be present in certain environments, but you are mentally and emotionally withdrawn. Your advice is going to be focusing on what it is that you're moving towards instead of what it is that you're moving away from. The message with this card is not to see situations through rose-colored tinted glasses for what you'd ideally want a situation to be. This is about looking at the reality of what it actually is. Is the quality of the exchange something that is supportive, conducive, and productive for your soul's journey? Is your environment either internally and externally? And mainly it's internally, because when we find harmony within, we also find harmony in the world around us. This is the energy that it's giving me. So anyway, I'm gonna love and leave you right there. This is gonna be a guidebook and how to navigate this season through the heart. And yeah, I hope that this brings you a sense of clarity, maybe confirmation, or I'm hearing affirming the things that you're already doing or have been deliberating on doing. It's definitely a beautiful season to let your hair down, to come back into alignment with your unapologetic expression and own it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you right there. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Personal reading details also down below. Also check out Autistic if you're looking for some high quality AAA grade gemstones. I'm a bit slow today, okay? I'm just like very mellow, so that's what it's giving. Yeah, one of the proceeds are donated towards otter sanctuaries, so it's definitely a really beautiful energy. I'm wearing sunstone today actually, and rhodonite, which is a self-love stone. And yeah, let me know, what would you create if no one was watching, and how would you create if no one was watching? Until next time, bye.